of this time to share with you what's happening in MMA so that you don't miss them. Because we get so many mails from MMA, sometimes you have a tendency to gloss over and miss some good program. We don't want you to do that. And today's program, I'll be briefing about it a little later, Art of Remaining Calm in a Turbulent World. Then on 20th April, we have end of life planning. What we mean by end of life planning is many of us do a lot of succession planning, but as an individual, you don't do how well you do that. You do as a corporate quite a bit, and there, as an individual, what you do, we have a very good speaker, Vish Viswanathan, CEO of Aniko, is from USA and settled down in Chennai, and Mr. Shankar, who is the founder of CAMS, will be chairing the session. On 21st of April, again, we have an interesting reading on book reading, not book reading, because Read and Grow is the series, what we do. Influence the psychology of persuasion, new and expanded Read and Grow. We have again outstanding panel there. And then on Friday, 5th of May, how women work fitting in, standing out in Asia. Just now, I think Swami just arrived. Let me resume and then. As I was mentioning, it's on the 21st of April. Then on 5th of May, we have how women work fitting in and standing out. Because how the women, when they go and work in some of the neighboring countries, other countries, they do so well, why you can't do? And again, we have a very, very interesting panel. Ms. Aarti, she's author, intellectual coach. We have Mr. Gadgil, he's the president of Abrasi from QME. Then Devashi Ravishankar, she is global head of ecosystems and business operation of TCS. Then on 8th of May, again, we have very, very interesting event talk by Suresh Sambandam. Most of you know, Suresh Sambandam is the founder and CEO of KISFlow. He's going to be talking about very, very interesting event relevant to his business, what is he going to be doing. Then on, we have quite a number of events on May also fixed up. 11th of May, we have how to make India water resilient. On 15th of May, we have MMA and policy matters. Foreign trade in Indian rupee reach and outreach. Idea is how rupee convertibility is going to take, because rupee is almost now in terms of Ukraine war, we are able to do some exchange, some of the places where it's acceptable in many banks. How can we make rupee convertibility? What is the impact on Indian economy? And does it good? I think we have some outstanding panel again. Mr. Suresh Babu is Professor of Economics and Department of Humanities from IIT Madras. He is also advisor to the Economic Advisory Council of Prime Minister. Then Mr. Srinivasan IAS, Sivaraman IAS, former Revenue Secretary. Then Sanjay Kumar is a partner, public policy and tax from Deloitte. Then on 17th of May, we have a discussion on the thing branding by one of the branding guru, Vijay Parsadi. He's going to be talking to us, and we are likely to get some of the best speakers, including worldwide head of Johnson joining us online, and many more. Then on 19th, we have Read and Grow, another book will be selected. Then on 24th of May, we have The Company We Keep. It's very, very important. Many a time you're told you are judged by the people whom you are move around, and here what the person is going to be talking to us, Divya Kannan, again, very great achiever. She is going to be talking on this subject, Company We Keep, and she is a part of Unilever Group and Hindustan and number of other companies now. She's a practicing consultant. Like other way, we also have programs located all places in Chennai. We have a lecture on Bhupati and Co. on 19th of April. It's on finance. Then we have Krish is talking about professionalizing family business in Namakkal, and he's also talking about way forward for family businesses. Then lecture on Andhra Chamber of Commerce is happening on 26th April. Then on 29th of April, lecture with the Institute of Foundrymen. We're also going to have a start very soon lecture on intellectual property rights at every month in one particular place. We have identified a person who are authority on intellectual property right. Like that, many more subjects. Idea is we give you a bouquet of opportunity, not that you have to attend every time, every day. Sometime we may have 2-3 events on the same day. Idea is you can pick and choose. One advantage of is our programs, especially what's happening in MMA, is all webcast live on air, so that you don't worry. Now, coming to today's thing, if you have any questions, there's a QR code put in front of your seat. Just scan and send it across to us. In case you don't want to do that, your smartphone is not picking up, sometime it may happen. You have a question slip here. Is that gentleman who's going to be sitting, you just give him a sign. He'll give you a pen as well as a question slip. He'll give it to you. He'll give you a question slip, question you have to write. You may not be able to dictate the questions. I'm quite sure he'll do that. He'll do that. Then all the viewers watching the program live from all our channels, live webinar, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also live on radio. Please send your questions by the WhatsApp number which is flashed on your screen. We'll compile all of them and place it before Swamiji. And having known Swamiji is not new to MMA, it'll be interesting to respond to all your questions. And coming to today's topic, the art of remaining calm in a turbulent world. When I was told Swamiji is coming, is the day is available, and this date was booked for some other event actually. So I spoke to Sangeeta and got the event shifted because we cannot afford to miss Swamiji's presence in MMA. Because he's one of the outstanding speakers. At least I'll walk miles to listen to him. And you always feel calm. And he's talking about calm in a turbulent world. Any world, anywhere, any place, you look at him and interact with him, the calmness will automatically get imbibed in you. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together to welcome the speaker for this evening, Swami Bodhananda, Spiritual Director, Chairman of Sambodh Institute. And to chair this session, we have our Managing Committee member, Mr. Lakshminarayanan. He's the Managing Director of Sundaram Home Finance Private Limited. May I request you to please take your place on the dais. Swamiji, on the dais. Lakshmi, can you please take your place on the dais? Come, Swami. Before I request Mr. Lakshminarayanan to introduce the speaker formally and also set the context, let me have the privilege of introducing Mr. Lakshminarayanan. Lakshminarayanan is the Managing Director of Sundaram Home Finance Private Limited and is Sundaram Home Finance, and he's also over 30 years of experience in financial services industry with expertise in risk management and operational and strategy. He was also Chief Operating Officer of Sundaram AMC till 2019. He joined Sundaram Asset Management Company in 2009. Prior to that, he worked at GE Capital. He started his career with the Citibank retail operations and moved to GE Capital. Lakshmi is also a commerce graduate, qualified cost accountant and Master of Business Administration from LIBA, and is also a member of our MMA Managing Committee. We work very closely together. We do a lot of work, and he's a great supporter of MMA's activities. And now I request Lakshmi to please introduce the subject and also introduce the speaker. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Sure. Good evening to all of you, and thank you, Captain. It's indeed my privilege to deliver the formal opening remarks at this very special talk on the theme, Art of Remaining Calm in a Turbulent World, organized with the support of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. I consider it an honor to welcome Swami Bodhananda, the distinguished speaker for this evening. Swami Bodhananda was born in a quiet village called Mattattur, 36 miles northeast of Kaladi in Kerala, the birthplace of Adi Sankaracharya. From the early childhood, he showed great interest in reading and discussing issues pertaining to the country, culture, and geopolitics. Swami Bodhananda is a teacher of keen observation, sharp analytical thinking, subtle perception, and an integral vision. His analysis of any issue, whether it is of geopolitical importance or philosophical abstraction or psychological complexity, always brings out a nuanced clarity coupled with connected and unified presentation. Swamiji is a spiritual director and chairman of Sambodh institutions in India and the United States. He has authored several books, notably a few of them, Indian Management and Leadership, Gita and Management, Leadership Excellence and Soft Skills, Foundations of Leadership Excellence, Hindu Dharma for the 21st Century, Mahabharata and Management, and a few others as well. Coming to today's topic. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with a stream of news and events that can cause stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. It is during these turbulent times that we need to cultivate the art of staying calm. In this context, it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to this discussion on the theme, Art of Remaining Calm in a Turbulent World. I have a few questions myself to start this discussion. We keep hearing about this calmness. In fact, last night when I was watching the IPL match, I heard about Dhoni and calmness at least about 10 to 15 times. People kept talking about how does Dhoni remain calm in the face of adversity. Is calmness a passive state of being involving numbing oneself to what is really going on? Is it in some cases an unnatural even? Or is it a sense of tranquility and one of the greatest qualities that we can all have? Is calmness a trait for managers only? And is calmness an art or a science? There are more questions I'm sure we're going to get answers from. Just as all of you, I'm equally excited to be here today to listen to this talk and hear Swamiji speak for the first time. Once again, thank you all for being here, and I look forward to a very stimulating discussion this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lakshminarayanan, for that introduction. So calmness is the elephant in the room today. We have to tame that. How to remain calm in a turbulent world? That is the challenge that we all are facing. If the mind is disturbed, and as you interact with the world with a disturbed mind, then the world also looks disturbed, confusing. When the mind is calm, the world also looks calm. If the mind is disturbed, you are disturbed. And then you become unprotected. You may be very efficient, but you are not effective. A person with a disturbed mind is like a bull in a china shop, or a misguided missile. It can hit the wrong places. It's very important that we keep our mind calm while you are interacting with the world. You can be very calm in a cave of the Himalayas because there is nobody to disturb you, nobody to ask you questions like this. When questions are asked, you get perturbed. You go out of your mind. You go off the center, as they say. You become eccentric. And most of us are eccentric people. Different levels of madness, let us say. So from experience, professionals, managers, leaders, technocrats, politicians, doctors, they know the importance of keeping the mind calm so that they can understand the world better, process sensations better. So how do we do that? Is it a science or an art or something else? We don't know. Maybe it's both the art and the science. Science is technology, art is the application of the technology. So how to keep myself calm, quiet and serene? And this is the question we are trying to. I hope you all are with me in that. You need a calm, quiet mind so that you can interact with the world better. You may be very effective, but you are not, you may be very efficient, but you are not effective because of a disturbed mind. That's what I find most of the people. You have the domain knowledge, you have the skill sets, but you are not able to apply it properly. What they call the soft skill or the emotional intelligence or effectiveness, people skills. That's what we are lacking. Alone you can achieve nothing. You can achieve only in a team when you are interacting with the people. So my challenge is how to keep yourself calm while you are interacting with the world, facing the challenges of the world. I'm not talking about a calmness that you experience in a cave or the Himalayas. I'm talking about a calmness at home, on the road, in the boardroom, in the bedroom. Wherever you are interacting with the people, can you keep yourself calm? As they say, the center of the storm is calm. The disturbance is only around. The hub of a wheel doesn't move, doesn't rotate. Only the spokes and the rim rotates. So they are very effective. So can you keep calm, quiet, serene in this turbulent world as you interact with the world, as you process the sensations and respond to those sensations? This is the challenge that we all are asking. And we know when the mind is quiet, you are very effective, very productive. When the mind is disturbed, you are destructive. All this we know. But the question is that how to tame the monkey mind. Our mind is like a monkey, not an ordinary monkey, a drunken monkey. Not even a drunken monkey, but the monkey is drunk and stung by a scorpion. Markadasya Svirapanam Madde Vrichigadamshanam. And on top of that, a ghost has entered into the mind. Imagine, already a monkey, drunken monkey, stung monkey, and a ghost has entered. Imagine that monkey. That is our state of mind. So how to tame this mind? Like a wild river. If you dam it, you can have a beautiful reservoir and you can use that water for generating electricity as well as irrigation, as well as sports. But the river is wild, then it becomes very destructive. The mind is like a river, or like a monkey. Chittaha nadi, they say. It's like a river. How do you tame it, dam it, create a reservoir so that it can use the water whenever it is necessary? And the water becomes very useful. This is the challenge that we are addressing today. I hope you all are with me. And first of all, you should know you have a mind. Most of people don't know. They think they have hormones, but they don't know whether they have a mind. But do you have a mind? That is the first question. If you don't mind, I am asking this question. Do you have a mind? And how do you recognize that I have a mind? What should I do to know whether I have a mind or not? For that, you have to do some reflection. So if you analyze the human personality, there are three factors which constitute the human personality. One is the mind. Other is the self. You have a self. It is a self that owns the mind. You say, my mind. My mind is not in a good condition. My mood is changing constantly. So first of all, we have to recognize the mind. I have a mind. Other than a brain, you may not be able to reduce the mind to the brain. Most of people do that. For them, mind is just a function of the hormones. Therefore, you have no control over the hormones and you have no control over the mind. So first of all, we have to recognize that I have a mind, and for that you need some reflection. Maybe you have to take some time every day of your busy life to sit in a corner, a quiet place, and watch yourself, which is very, very important. We don't do that. We don't watch ourselves. We watch others, and we comment upon others. But in the process, we forget to watch ourselves. So this watchfulness is very, very important to recognize the place of the mind and the importance of the mind in your life. And most of the people I find they are so busy, they have no time to watch their mind. And when you watch your mind, you get an understanding of the architecture of the mind. The mind has got 4 functions. One function is an emotion aspect of the mind. Your emotion as part of the mind. And then your thinking is another part of the mind. The buddhi, I use the Sanskrit word, the buddhi, the thinking part of the mind. Then the manaha, the emotional part of the mind. And there is memories. That is another part of the mind, which is called the chitta. And then the ego, the doing, the doer part of the mind. That part of the mind is owning all these emotions, thinking, and memories. So these are the 4 parts of the mind, 4 aspects of the mind, which we are not aware. Which we are not aware, because we have no time to look at the mind. And when you don't look at the mind, mind misbehaves. When you look at the mind really behaves. Like children. When you don't look at the children, they are misbehaving. When you watch the children, they start behaving properly. So we have these 4 aspects or functions of the mind. The buddhi, the mana, the memory or chitta, and the ego. And we have a certain ego which is the executive self. Ego is called the executive self. Apart from that, you have a witnessing self also. So there is a self, there is a mind, and the world of which you are a part. You cannot separate the world from yourself. So this is your whole personality, your world, your mind, and your self. And the self has got 2 aspects, the witnessing self and the executive self. Mind has got 2 parts, the surface mind and the deep mind. And the deep mind, we have no idea what's going on there. Psychologists call it the unconscious mind. And 90% of the mind is unconscious mind. We don't know what is going on there. And that unconscious part influences your behavior. And then you say, I didn't mean it, I am sorry. Something deep in you makes you do or say whatever you are doing. So there is a surface level mind, there is a deep level mind, and as the world is concerned, there is a sensate world, a world which is presented to you, and there is a scientific world, which you don't know what is going on. So an individual is a complex entity. It's not a simple entity. The environment influences you, you influence the environment, and the self influences you, and all these things put together is the individual sitting there like a question mark, not knowing what is going on. So how do you manage this mind is the question. Make it calm. And the psychologists say when the mind is calm, while you are interacting with the world, you get access to your spiritual reserves or the spiritual energy. So one has to believe that you have a spiritual reservoir, a great energy latent, untapped in you. That belief is very, very important in managing the mind. If you are part of the mind, then you are part of the problem. If you understand you are beyond the mind, there is something which is beyond the mind. As somebody said, give me a lever and a place to stand, I can lift the whole world. Give me a lever, a place to stand, I can lift the whole world. The mind is the lever for you. Mind is a tool. But you must have a place to stand, to use the mind as you are interacting with the world. And what is that place for you to stand? That place is the self, which is referred by the experience of I. Whenever you say I, you are referring to the self. Don't you use the word I all the time? I got up in the morning, I had a bath, I had my breakfast, I dressed up, I jumped into my car, I went to my office, then I came back, then I had another shower, then I watched the TV. While you are watching the TV, I ate my dinner, then I had a hot cup of tea or coffee, And then I hit the bed and I slept. Throughout all these series of experiences, there is one thing which doesn't leave you, and that is the I experience. Do you agree with me? That is the I experience. This I is your central reality. The rest are all happening around you. So one must have an understanding of that I. Who am I? That question is very, very important in managing the mind. If you are part of the mind, managing the mind becomes very, very difficult. But when you understand there is something beyond the mind, then managing the mind becomes important, or calming the mind becomes important. For that, we need some time every day to sit in a quiet place, reflect. Reflective action. These days it is all reactive action. We are simply reacting. We are not reflecting. That is the greatest tragedy of the modern individual. We are all the time instantly, impulsively reacting. And then you say, I regret, I am sorry, I didn't mean it, etc. So to manage the mind, you must have a place which is beyond, transcending the mind. And that place is your I experience. Who am I? That question becomes very, very important. And through reflection, you realize you are beyond the mind. You are other than the mind. The mind is only a tool, like a car or a computer. You can use the car to reach your destination. You can use the computer to get knowledge, information. Similarly, the mind can be used as a tool. And for that, I must realize that I am something beyond the mind, which I would call the self. The self is other than the mind. If self is part of the mind, then the problem of the mind becomes your problem. So this way, when I can reflect every day and watch the mind, this is called watchfulness, mindfulness, attentiveness. These days they call mindfulness is very, very important. So by sitting quiet as a leader or a manager, we all are leaders and managers. At least at your home you are a leader. In a small organization you are a leader. Who is the leader? The leader is one who gives a vision and motivates people to work toward that realization of that vision. Such a person I would call a leader. We all are leaders in our own respective spheres. So being a leader or a manager, you must have some time. That's a good investment, I tell you. You may feel that I am wasting my time. What am I doing? Sitting quiet and closing my eyes and watching myself. What am I doing? Am I not wasting my time? You are not. You are investing your time very efficiently or economically. So spend some time every day to watch your mind, to experience your mind, to distance yourself from the mind. And then we have the ability to control the mind. And the miracle is that when you watch the mind becomes calm. Have you experienced that? When you watch the mind, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. If you try to discipline the mind rebels against you. Don't try to discipline the mind. That's why I say it's not a science. It's not a science, it's an art. Simply watch the mind and the mind behaves. It's something like when you sit down on a chair, you shake your thighs, isn't it? Your leg, you keep on shaking. Unknowingly, impulsively. And then somebody watches, and then suddenly you stop shaking your leg. So similarly, to manage the mind, to quieten the mind, you don't have to do anything. The more you try to do, the more the mind rebels. If you say, I don't want to get angry, you will get angrier. So there is no way of controlling the mind other than simply watching the mind. The mind becomes quiet and serene. Because as I told you, at the center of the storm, there is calmness. There is no noise at all. It's very quiet. Similarly, when you develop that mindfulness or attentiveness, mind becomes very, very calm. This is what Patanjali was the greatest psychologist of India. He written a text called Patanjali Yoga Sutras. In Yoga Sutras, he says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. All these assets are there in our tradition, but unfortunately we are not using these assets. Patanjali has written a great book. So Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is managing, calming the mind. When the mind is calm, it becomes a powerful instrument for you to deal with the world, to express your full potential. When the mind is disturbed, it becomes a destructive instrument also in your hand. So how do I calm the mind? The mind can be calmed by watching, giving attention to the mind. When you give attention to the mind, it becomes calm. And then you are detached from the mind. A detached observation, a reflective, non-judgmental observation will make the mind calm. You don't have to do anything about it. But this calmness is to be enjoyed while you are interacting with the world. That's the key point. Most of the time, when you sit in a puja room, mind is calm because nobody is there to disturb you. But once you are out in the world, mind becomes again disturbed. Like stones thrown into water, it gets disturbed. So the simple art of calming the mind is learning the ability to watch the mind. Watching without judgment. Most of the time we judge. I am good, I am bad, I am this, I am that. Or others judge you. And then you internalize the others' judgment. And when others judge you, they always want to manipulate you. The best way to manipulate a person, judge. Make a comment about that person. You look a beautiful person, then you feel puffed up. Or he says you look ugly, then your energy goes down. So we most of the time look for confirmation from outside. Our self-image is determined by the other. Of course, the other do have a role in developing or giving you an image, but that's not the whole, the end of the story. I must have my own self-image. Who am I? I must have an understanding about myself. So watch your mind, the inner theater, whatever is happening in the mind. What happens outside actually is happening inside. You experience only what is happening inside. You don't experience what is happening outside. Whatever happens outside is reflected inside. That is all what you see. There is no other way of knowing the outside world other than through the medium of your mind. I challenge. There is no other way of knowing what is happening. Whatever the world is presented to you through the sense organs and reflected on the screen of the mind, that is all what you know. And that reflection depends upon the quality of your mind. If the mind is disturbed, as I told you, the world seems to be disturbed. So this fact we have to understand. The outside world is experienced through the five sense organs and interpreted by the mind with the help of memories and intellect, etc. You interpret the world. The world, you know, is your interpretation. And the interpretation depends upon your self-image. What is my nature? Who am I? So these are all interconnected. And the mind is the medium, the bridge between the self and the world. So to understand yourself properly, to understand the world, one must have a handle over the mind. Mind is the bridge. Mind determines. And therefore, learn to watch the mind. When you watch the mind becomes quiet and serene. And with the serene mind, you can understand the world better and you can understand yourself also better. If there is no self-knowledge or the right understanding of the world, life becomes a mess. You need self-knowledge. For both, mind is the tool, mind is the instrument. The simple method of quietening the mind, as Patanjali says, watch the mind without any judgment. When you watch the mind without judgment, mind becomes automatically quiet. There's a very interesting story of Buddha. Buddha with his friend Ananda, they were wandering in the state of Bihar long back. Buddha was preaching his message of enlightenment, of nirvana, the possibility of human being. Buddha is talking about your infinite possibilities. You don't have to sit like a question mark. You have all the answers within you. Look into yourself. This was the message that Buddha was giving. Buddha was wandering all over Bihar. Then they crossed a river on their path. And then after some time, Buddha said, Ananda, I am feeling thirsty. Can you get me some water? We just crossed the river. Please go and fetch some water. Ananda said, here I am. He ran toward the river. When he went there, the water was all muddied. Because a few bullock carts crossed over the shallow river and the water was muddied. And then my Lord wants water. He jumped into the water and tried to clean up the mess. The more he tried to clean up, the more the water became muddy. Finally, after exasperation, he goes to his master and says, Master, I couldn't get a clean bowl of water and I'm sorry. The master says, what did you do? I jumped into the water and tried to clean up. Oh fool, you should have stayed on the bank of the river. The water will settle down by itself. The mud will settle down by itself. And the clean water will surface. Then you could have fetched the water. Go and do. Just watch. When you watch, the river become calm. And the mud will settle. You can get the clean water. Similarly, when you wash the mind, it becomes. So Patanjali says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Dan Nirodha. This mind can be managed by Vairagya. Vairagya means a detached observation, a non-judgmental observation. Don't condemn the mind. Don't disturb the mind. Watch. So we have to spend every day, as a manager, as a leader, spend every day 15 minutes. Because the art of calming the mind, isn't it? The art of calming the mind is spending 15 minutes with the mind. Being friendly with the mind. Watching the mind. Maybe asking questions to the mind. Interrogating the mind. Because the mind is all what you have. You don't know anything about the world other than what the mind reports to you. So by doing that, by quietening the mind, sometimes you feel very calm and then thoughts manifest, isn't it? That's your experience when you sit quiet for some time. All kind of distracting thoughts manifest. And you don't know where are they coming from, why they are coming. So of course there are distractions when you sit quiet. And those distractions may be coming from the depth of the mind, like rotten eggs or rotten wood at the bottom of the lake. Trapped air manifests from there. So there may be unconscious level, there may be unanalyzed or unprocessed information sitting in the unconscious mind, like your undigested food. What will I do with that? Patanjali says, Pratiprasavam. You have to go back into the past and reprocess all your past experiences. Because a lot of traumas have been accumulated by you as you are growing up. Those traumatic experiences has to be reprocessed. And that also can be done in meditation or practicing mindfulness. So the art of calming the mind is not doing anything. Just simply sitting for 15 minutes. If you can do that, the mind becomes calm. And then you have a taste of the mind, that calm mind. And the next task is to maintain that state of mind while you are interacting with the world. So, can you keep the mind calm while you are interacting with the world is another challenge, question that we have to face. It is possible. How do I do that? How do I calm the mind while you are talking with my neighbor, while talking with my boss, while talking with my subordinate, while talking with my competitor? Can I keep the mind calm is another question. He says it is possible by practicing non-reaction. When I talk with you or with my competitor, my friend, my colleague, I have to avoid reacting to whatever he is saying. So avoid non-reaction. Only respond, don't react. That's what we are doing, isn't it? We immediately react. And then we say, I regret. So practice non-reaction. All values can be compressed into one value of non-reaction. Don't react to situation, but respond. How do I do that? Create some gap between stimulus and response. Because as the stimulus pour into you, our tendency is to immediately respond. There is no gap. So it becomes a jarring response. Create some gap. Take a breath. Say Om. Create some gap. You type a letter, a response to your boss. Your boss writes something, immediately you type a response and you send it. Later you say, my God, I should not have sent that response. Wait over that for one night. There is time. The next morning when you wake up, your mind is clear. You may redraft the letter. So, some pause between stimulus and the response. Create some space. That space is very, very important for us. It is in that space your creative responses arise. But we don't do that. Our response is immediate. Not spontaneous, but impulsive. I recently read a story that when President Ford, United States, President Ford, he was the only unelected president in America. President Ford also is the commander-in-chief of the American Army. As a commander-in-chief, he gives an annual pep talk to the graduates, military graduates. So while he is giving this talk, one of the cadets who is sitting in the front got up, rushed towards the president, slapped on his face. Of course, some of the pep talks deserve a slap, isn't it? So because they're saying the same thing again and again and again. Somebody composed that talk, the speech, and then he is reading it out. It's very boring. So this man went and rushed and gave a slap. By the time he could return to his seat, the security detail caught hold of him, dragged him out of the hall, and interrogated him. Why did you do that, young man, after 3 years of training in the military? He says, I felt so. When I heard his speech, I just felt so. And I could not control my impulse. You took a hasty decision. Now we have to repent in leisure in the jail, isn't it? A hasty decision. Then you repent. This is what we are doing. Impulsive, compulsive, obsessive reaction to situation. If you can keep that space, then that space between stimulus and response is the space of creative response to situation. You become absolutely creative, original in your responses. But we fail to do that. So avoid reaction, but only respond. Some people don't react at all. They don't react. I don't want to speak with you. Then you go to the puja. Then sit there. Everything is boiling up within you. After 2 days, you come down like a ton of brick, isn't it? Or you suppress, and it becomes pathological diseases for you. So don't suppress. Don't express violence, but respond to situation. That kind of a command of your response is very, very important, is possible if you create that space. And the third important factor is, we all are searching for happiness outside, isn't it? Why are you here? What are you searching in life? What are you demanding? What's your demand in life? What's your project in life? What do you want at the end of the day? It's very difficult to answer. Maybe power, maybe money, maybe reputation, maybe recognition, maybe fame. But all these, power, money, reputation, fame, finally end up in I want to be happy. I want to be comfortable within my skin. I want to be a happy, flourishing individual. Is it not? Is it not our goal, ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is not wealth, but well-being. Of course, that debate is going on, wealth or well-being. What is the role of wealth in well-being? What is the role of well-being in wealth? That discussion is going on these days. As a manager, you should be a flourishing person. You may be a successful person, but end of the day, it's not success what matters, but your health what matters. So to this question, we all want to be a happy individual. A happy individual is a creative individual. An unhappy individual is a destructive individual. Wherever you go, you become a destructive element if you are unhappy. How to become a happy individual? Is it not your question? I hope all of you must have thought about that. On the peak of your career, you find you are alone there, not even your children recognize you. One day the son was asking, Mummy, who is the stranger sleeping in your bed? Because he has not seen the father. Father is all the time busy, away. So therefore, at the peak of your career, you regret what I have done, what has happened to me. So happiness is very, very important. You must be a happy individual. I would say happy person is like God. When you are happy, you are nearer to God. When you are unhappy, you are far away from God. God is the ultimate value of all good values. God is the ultimate repository. We are happy. So God is a smile away, they say. He's not a mile away, he's only a smile away. When you smile, you are with God. When you frown, you are far away from God. When you smile, you attract everybody. You become a magnetic, charismatic person. When you frown, people move away from you. So how do I do that? How can I smile? Is there something to smile in this world? Where is my happiness? So this consumerist ideology, that the more you consume, the happier you become. That is the wrong philosophy, ideology we are following now. More and more consumption. When you reflect and when you contemplate it, then you realize happiness is not outside, happiness is your nature. This is the sum and substance of Indian philosophy. Indian philosophy is quoted by everybody all over the world now. The sum and substance of Indian culture, Indian tradition, Indian philosophy is we all are seeking happiness. That happiness is not outside. It is our essential nature. It is there latent within us. You have to only tap into that. This is a great philosophy. That you must be happily interacting with the world, not for happiness. Doesn't make any sense to you. You must happily interact with the world. But where is happiness? I'm an unhappy person. How can I happily? I cannot fake it. Yes, if you fake it, you make it there. You fake happiness, then you make it. So one has to understand your happiness is not outside, it is within me, it is my nature. When you know that, you can happily interact with the world. You can share your happiness. You can share your prosperity with the whole world. So these are the three things we have to practice. One thing is, every day, sit down, watch your mind without judgment. Don't suppress your emotion. Not impulsively express yourself, but watch, look before you leap, as they say. Look before you leap. Recently I heard a story that somebody was sitting on the 7th floor of a five-star hotel, 7th story, just brooding over, looking through the window, the sunrise. He is sitting there. Then he heard some let's say internal announcement. And the announcement says, Peter, your wife died of an accident, and hearing that your daughter committed suicide. Hearing that, this man jumped through the window. Now there is no point in living. While he was falling 36 feet per second, he is falling gravity takes over when you jump, suddenly remember, wait a minute, my name is not Peter. I am John. Because there's an impulsive action, thoughtless action. But now you cannot do anything. You already jumped. Now the gravity will take care. Gravity is ruthless. You cannot change your mind. So before you leap, please look. Please be careful. That 1 minute of carefulness will save a whole lot of problem in your life. As a leader, as a manager, before you speak, wait for a minute. Wait for a minute. The first is observing the mind. Second is creating some space between stimulus and response. Third is understanding that your happiness is not outside. Nobody can make you unhappy. Nobody can make you happy also. You have the agency to be a happy person. So take back the agency which you have lost. Become an agent. Become an owner of your own happiness. If you can practice these three things, of course there are other, because we are unhappy. We have become habituated to others. Even if you, after hearing this lecture, still when you go back home, you go back an unhappy person. I did not understand anything what Swami said. I did not understand anything because you are habitually an unhappy person. It has become part of your DNA. You are not able to recraft your DNA, reorder your DNA. Then what should you do? One has to do certain practices, discipline. One is when you sit quiet, watch your breath. You are the breath, isn't it? When you breathe your last, then you are a piece of flesh. Breath is what makes you land on the moon and come back also. If there is no breath, you are nobody. So, because breath and the mind is related. So if you cannot control the mind, catch the breath. So what do you do? Sit down, before you watch your mind, watch your breath, which is possible. As you breathe in and breathe out, which makes you what you are, so watch your breath. Or watch your heartbeat, which is possible. So watch your heartbeat, watch your breath, and the swell and the fall of the stomach wall as you breathe in and breathe out. If you cannot control the mind, watch your body at least. Watch your body. Engage in a conversation with the body. And when you watch your body, the breath becomes deep, the mind becomes quiet, and the spirit awakens. That's the discipline which you have to follow. By these methods, one will be able to calm the mind. That's why I call the art of calming the mind, not the science and the technology of calming the mind. It's simply about watching. You can calm the mind. And if you are not in a watchful state, mind becomes again disturbed. So friends, which is very important, that we are able to have a handle of our mind so that you can interact with the world better, you can understand the world better, you can understand yourself better. Thus you become a whole personality, a healthy personality, and a whole, healthy, healed personality. When we move into the world, you become a magnet, a charismatic person. You can influence people, you can influence your own thoughts, and you become a master of your destiny with a calm and quiet mind. Thank you very much. Hari Om. Yeah. No, I sit here. I'll stand here. Yeah, please.
The first one is from Radha.
Where is Radha? Who is Radha?
Oh, it's an
Online,
online question. Okay. In the modern corporate world, aggressive approach is applauded, while calmness is seen as a sign of weakness. How do we remain calm in such a situation?
Yeah, this is another wrong philosophy, the jungle philosophy. The truth and claw. I should be very aggressive, like a lion. For that, you can join a Lions Club. When you join a Lions Club, you are called a lion, isn't it? So this philosophy of the jungle, that I have to be aggressive, I have to show my claw and my teeth and all that, it no more works. You are living in a knowledge economy. Everybody conscious of their rights. Every individual needs dignity and respect. You can only persuade people. You have no punitive power over people. We are living in a modern world where everybody needs dignity and respect and love. So aggression is an old philosophy. And persuasion is the modern philosophy of living. You have to persuade, motivate people to join you for pursuing common purposes. So I disagree with that basic premise that aggression alone works. It doesn't work. What China is doing toward Taiwan, they are waiting. They are waiting for Taiwan to fall into their lap. They pretend to be aggressive. They are waiting. So the basic philosophy that aggression alone works is a wrong approach. You have to motivate people, inspire people. If you don't inspire, human beings are such. If you inspire them, they can perform better. If you don't inspire them, they can do bad things also. You can make a man a Buddha or a Buddha, as they say. Possible. So therefore, the best method is persuasive. Give them a vision. Motivate them. Don't become aggressive. When you become aggressive, the other person also become aggressive. So two aggressive people. That's why it's called the law of the jungle. It no more works in this modern world. Yes.
The second question is from Dr. Vasudevan. For having a calm mind, observing or watching the mind is the solution, which is an effort. How come some, including some children, are effortlessly calm? Does Purva Janma effort answer this situation?
Observing is not an effort. That is the mistake you are thinking. Observation is effortless. Control is effort. If I want to control the mind, then it becomes an effort. I am not doing that. I am only observing the mind. So when I observe, when I see you, I am not making any effort. I just open my eyes and see you. If I want to see a pot, I just open my mind and eyes and see it. So observation is effortless. Control is full of effort. And control is counterproductive. So therefore, don't try to control the mind, but just observe. Don't practice it. When you do it, you will understand. It is a very effortless method. And some children are calm. They say they're calm before the storm, isn't it? So they're calm now because you have given them a lollipop or a biscuit or a toy or something. That's the way they are calm. They're as disturbed as you are. So therefore, don't believe that the temporary calm is not real calm. It is a calm before the storm.
The next question is from Arjun. Meditation is said to make the mind calm, but there are various forms of meditation. How does one choose the correct form of meditation which can make our mind calm?
I have given you the correct form. Observe the mind. Sit on a chair or sit cross-legged. Watch your breath. Observe your mind. And when you observe the mind becomes calm. That's the simplest method. All others are, when this doesn't, you are not practicing this, then you may go for difficult methods. So the simplest method is sit down and observe. And you can observe, when I am talking, I am observing my mind. When you are listening, you have to observe your mind, which is possible. So practice that. And over a period of time, you can effortlessly do that. Yes.
The next question is from V.V. Kupaswamy. Can you comment on calming the mind through Kechari Mudra?
Kechari Mudra is one of the practices given in the Hatha Yoga Pratipada. Kechari Mudra is you close your mind and turn your tongue upward and try to touch the roof of your mouth. That's called Kechari Mudra. It's a good practice, but there are certain violent, invasive part of also in Kechari Mudra, which I won't recommend, but you can do that. Turn the tongue upward and try to touch the roof of the mouth and then watch your breath. That's called Kechari Mudra. You can practice. Again, effort. All these are effort, isn't it? So it's a distraction actually. It's not watching your mind. You're distracting your mind, trying to do that practice, and then you sometimes successful, sometimes you are not successful, then you condemn yourself. So I won't recommend that because that can lead you down the slippery path. So it's not, any invasive practice is not good for controlling the mind. Any unethical practice is not good for. Kechari Mudra, all those mudras involve certain unethical practice also. So I won't recommend that. Any other question?
Yeah, I have one more from Ms. Padma. Many of us are normally mixed up between brain and mind. What is the difference between the two? We know the location of the brain. What is the location of mind?
This is a very difficult question, which most of the people reduce mind into the brain processes as a materialistic approach. That's a scientific approach, reducing mind into the brain processes. And that will lead to a position, somebody sitting in the capital, the big brother can control your mind. Because they can control your blood pressure, your sugar level, your sodium, your hormones, and your electric impulses in the brain by using the modern technologies. It will lead to a position where all of us become machines controlled by the big brother. If your mind is just the brain. That's a very scary situation. We don't believe so. You cannot reduce the mind to the brain. Because brain is necessary for the mind to express itself. Like even you need a TV screen to express or see the Prime Minister speaking in the Red Fort on the Independence Day. You are not there. You can sit in your drawing room and watch the Prime Minister. So similarly, brain may be necessary for the mind to express, but mind cannot be reduced to the brain. They are two different entities. Brain is part of the body, and brain is controlled by electrical and chemical impulses. You can mind over matter. You can control the brain processes by managing the mind. That's what I believe. That's what I would recommend to you. If you think you are a simple victim of the brain processes, you are just a machine. You have no soul. You become a zombie. And we don't want to happen that. Don't follow that principle. You have a self within you. You have a soul. That's why you are a human being. So, understand that and then manage the mind and the brain. Yes.
We have no more
We have,
questions.
we have got another
I have
5
one question.
Yes.
Can I
Go
ask
ahead.
you a question? Can you ever say that we have achieved mastery over mind, or is it a constant process of evolution?
Yeah, you can never say I have mastered the mind. You are right. You have to be always alert. You cannot sit on your laurels. I control the mind. I'm a master of the mind. Not even a Swami can say that. Constant alertness. Alertness gives you the reward. So total control of the mind cannot be achieved, but you can watch the mind. As the mind manifests, you can manage. You don't know. 90% of your mind is unknown to you. It's the tip of the iceberg. The surface level mind is known. The deep mind is not known. Like the deep state. Deep mind is not known. But that is what functions. So as the mind, the deep mind manifests as a thought or impulse or emotion, then you can watch that. Otherwise, you cannot watch the whole mind, which is not possible, because the whole mind has history back to the Big Bang. That sort of evolutionary process that's going on has happened. So it may not be, it's not possible to understand the whole gamut of the mind. But as the mind manifests, come to surface level, then you can become active, like an emergency light. Suddenly you become active, you can manage that. You can direct the processes of the mind. So you are right, it's not possible to completely. So you have to be always alert and humble. Don't say, I have mastered the mind. Mind is smarter than you. So don't say, I have mastered the mind, but I am alert.
Swami, over 700 people are watching this program, and since another 3-4 minutes are there, I'll try and squeeze in as many questions as possible. Some more questions just come. It's a question from Mr. Gurumurthy from Coimbatore. He says, sir, how can I help others remain calm in difficult times, which invariably affect my calmness?
My calmness, yeah. So that's a challenge. Actually, these challenges are necessary for you to observe the mind. Mind manifests only when you face challenges. Have you noticed that? When there is no challenge, there is no mind. When challenge comes, mind manifests. In relationship, the mind manifests. When you sleep, the mind is not manifested. Mind is very calm, but it's not manifested. In relationship, in interaction, when you face a challenge, when you face a roadblock, the mind manifests. Disturbance. So at that time, we have to watch the mind. The mind is to be watched in relationship. Mind manifests in relationship when you face challenges. So the more challenges, the better you can understand the mind. Otherwise, there's no way of knowing the mind. It is only when I shout at you, your mind manifests, isn't it? Then alone the mind manifests. So watch the mind. Yeah.
Here's a question from Ravi Kumar from Coimbatore. What are the common strategies for coping with the stress and anxiety
I told you 3 strategies. I come back to this. Anxiety is because what will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to my children? What will happen to my investment? What will happen to my company? What will happen to India? Will Modi come back again in the next election? These are your worries. Maybe I may fall sick. So you are unnecessarily projecting into the future. And you have no clue what's going to happen in the future. So admit that the future is not under my control. Anything can happen, but I am ready. Whatever happens, I am ready to face that situation and make the best use of that situation. That readiness, that attentiveness, that alertness is what is more important. There is no certainty in the world. There is only opportunities, as somebody said. There is no certainty. There is only opportunity. All situations can turn into opportunities or calamities. When the mind is calm, there are opportunities. When the mind is disturbed, there are calamities.
Okay, one last question for the evening, Swami. This is from Suresh Jain from Chennai. What are some common misconceptions about remaining calm under the present?
One misconception is a calm person is a doormat. When you are calm, people will walk over you. Therefore, I have to show my canine teeth. I have to chop the space, isn't it? Air. I have to be very aggressive. The one misconception is, if I am calm, people can take me for granted, which is wrong. That's a wrong premise. You are working on a wrong premise. When you are calm, you make the other person also calm. When you are agitated, you make the other person agitated. Because the energy is the same. Your energy you transfer to the other person and he responds to that. So when you are calm, The other person is calm. You create a calm space around you. And when you are calm, your best manifest. And the other person best also manifest. You can create win-win situation. You can create, otherwise you are playing a zero-sum game. So all are wrong premises. That I have to be very aggressive. I have to be show a piece of my mind. Isn't it? Don't you say that I gave me a piece of my mind? That means your mind was in pieces. Then you put one piece of mind and showed him. When your mind is in peace, not in pieces, then the other person responds.
Swami, one question, a couple of students here on behalf of them is, how can I remain focused? Calmness is one, yes, we told us. With so much of disruptions happening, especially your phone, other distractions, friends, how can I remain focused for the objective what I am
Prioritizing. Beliefs, values and prioritize. You should know how to prioritize. There are so many demands on your energy. But you must be able to know what is first things first. How do I prioritize? Through trial and error you will be able to know that. It's very difficult to say what should be your priorities because they keep changing and you don't know what should be prioritized. So it is a question of trial, wisdom. Wisdom comes through experience. Over a period of time, you become a wise individual. You can spontaneously know what should you do. Yes.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. I think, sorry sir, we come to the end of the session.
Okay.
Now, thank you so much.
There
We
one
already
more program.
crossed round 15.
There's one more program.
No,
one more program.
no.
Oh, give me that gentleman.
Okay, yes. Swamiji said,
Yeah.
Something like supposed to be learning a new skill. You say you have to put your consciousness. And once you acquire the skill, slowly it moves into a subconscious mind. So how do you, on a day-to-day activity as a professional, how do you optimize your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and of course even the unconscious mind? Giving something, sometimes you don't mind, what is happening. So that, unconsciously, how do you operate in this state?
Have you heard about the Peter principle? You grow to your level of inefficiency. Everybody grows to a level of inefficiency. So when you develop a skill and become part of your unconscious, and you forget that that skill has become outdated. The skill that you already acquired, it become outdated. It was functioning, it was okay at some time. Now it is already outdated, become obsolete. So then you have to make another intervention. What is unconsciously, you are consciously skillful, unconsciously skillful, and then you are unconsciously unskillful also. That skill that you acquired is no more useful. You must become aware of that. Be reflective and learn new skills. Because these skills have to be continuously updated. World is constantly changing. Yesterday's skills, today it will not work. So you should continuously update yourself. Become humble, unlearn things. That's how we have to do. So it can become, it's a process like that. Learn a skill, make it unconscious, and then it become unskilled, and then you have to unlearn it and relearn it. That process should continue, which is called humility, a readiness to learn, openness of mind, and ability to say, I don't know. The greatest knowledge is to know that you don't know. When you have that attitude, then the best knowledge manifests in you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji, for the fascinating evening. May I request Lakshmi please step forward, do the honor of presenting memento on behalf of.
practice well.
That's